It started with a glitch in the booking system, or at least that's what the girl at the front desk claimed. I arrived at the Ashmore Hotel around midnight. Rain pelting the windshield so violently that my wipers could barely keep up. My company had booked me a room for one night due to an unexpected delay in a client meeting. I didn't care where I slept as long as it was dry and had Wi-Fi, but when the receptionist handed me the brass key, I noticed her hesitation. She didn't meet my eyes.
"Room 313, she said quietly, almost like she hoped I wouldn't hear her.
"Thanks," I replied, trying to shake off the chill that crept up my spine.
Maybe it was just the weather.
The hotel was old. You could smell the decades in the wallpaper glue.
The elevator creaked like it had arthritis, and the hallway lights flickered in that horror movie kind of way that makes you feel watched, even when you're alone.
Room 313 was at the very end of the third floor corridor. The plaque on the door was tarnished, and the door itself didn't feel right. It opened too easily, almost like it wanted me inside. The room was cold. Not air conditioning cold, but the kind of cold that feels like it's been waiting for something. For someone. Still. I threw my bag down, plugged in my phone, and collapsed onto the bed. That's when I heard it. Shirk. Shirk. A dragging sound. Like something heavy scraping against wood. I froze. It was coming from the hallway, and then stopped. Knock. 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 3 slow knocks. Not hurried, not polite. They echoed. I got up and opened the door.
Nothing. The hallway was empty.
But the air felt wrong. Like someone had just been there. Breathing next to the door. Back inside, I brushed it off. Long day. Brain playing tricks.
I convinced myself of that until I saw the chair. The armchair in the corner.
It was facing the window earlier. Now it was turned directly toward the bed.
I didn't move it. I barely slept that night.
The next morning, I mentioned the weird knocks to the receptionist, same girl from last night. She stiffened. "You sure it was this floor?" "Room 313, that's me," I said. She hesitated. "We usually don't book that room."
"But you gave it to me. It must have been an error."
"I can move you." "No." "It's fine," I cut her off.
Something in me didn't want to move.
I needed to know what was going on. Later that day, while waiting for an email, I Googled the hotel.
Not much came up until I checked Reddit. A thread from 3 years ago.
"Don't stay in room 313 at the Ashmore Hotel." The post was vague. Talked about guests reporting strange noises, dreams of drowning. A woman's voice whispering from the vents. One commenter said their brother had stayed there in 1996 and disappeared.
The hotel told police he checked out early.
His things were never found. Okay. That was creepy. But Reddit was full of this kind of stuff, right? Still. That night, I double-checked the locks. I was just drifting off when I felt it. A chill. Wet, I sat up. The sheets beneath me were soaked. Not sweat water. Cold. Stale. Like it came from a lake. I leapt out of bed. Standing at the foot of the bed was a woman. Hair soaked, dripping. Her eyes were open but unfocused. Her mouth moved, but no sound came out. I blinked. She was gone.
I didn't sleep after that.
The next morning, I demanded to see the security footage.
The receptionist, Claire. I finally asked. Her name was reluctant at first, but after some firm insistence and maybe the wild look in my eyes, she agreed to let me speak with the hotel manager. 10 minutes later, I was in the back office, watching blurry black and white footage from the hallway outside room 313. I fast-forwarded to 3:13 a.m. Static. Just static. Not just a blur or a glitch, complete white noise static. Like the feed had been cut or jammed. Every other part of the hallway had clean footage, even right before and after that timestamp. But from 3:12 to 3:14, that signal, that's been happening for years. The manager muttered behind me. Every night, same time. I turned to him. "And you still rent out the room?" "We don't..." He scratched his neck awkwardly. "At least, we're not supposed to..."
That room's been off the system for a while now.
I don't even know how your reservation went through. That was when the thought hit me. What if I was never supposed to be there?
Later that day, as I wandered around the town trying to clear my head, I ran into a man smoking behind the gas station across the street from the hotel. He was in his 60s, leathery skin, white hair. He glanced at me and asked, "You the guy staying in 313?
How'd you know everyone knows?
He took a drag. "You see her yet?"
That was enough to make me stop walking.
He told me about a guest in the 90s, a businessman like me who went mad in that room.
Said he heard voices. Saw a woman standing in the corners. Always soaking wet. Said she was asking for help. Over and over. One night, he ran through the lobby screaming, "She's inside me," before leaping from the third floor window. They said he didn't even scream on the way down. I laughed nervously. That's just a story, right? The old man just stared.
"You should leave, son, before she finds a way in."
Back in the room that evening, I noticed something that hadn't been there before: a wet footprint.
One single print on the wooden floorboards, pointed toward the bed.
I followed the line with my eyes. That damn chair had moved again. It was now directly in front of the bathroom door. And the door was open. I hadn't opened it. I didn't want to, but something drew me in. Maybe it was stupid curiosity. Maybe something else inside. The mirror was fogged up, like someone had taken a long, hot shower, only I hadn't used it once.
And in the condensation on the glass, 4 words were drawn with a finger.
I never checked out. My legs almost gave out. I backed out of the room, grabbed my bag, and stormed downstairs.
Claire looked shocked to see me in such a state. "I'm leaving," I said. "Right now." She opened the system to check me out, then paused.
"What's your room number again?" I blinked. 313. Her brow furrowed.
"There's no 313 in the system."
"We only have records for rooms 301 through 312. I pulled out my key, showed it to her.
Her face drained of color.
"That's not possible. We haven't had a brass key in years."
"We use cards now." I demanded to speak to the manager again. He came out with a confused look, then told me, "Sir."
"Are you sure you're even a guest here?" I wanted to scream instead. I dragged them both upstairs, but when I reached the 3rd floor,
the hallway ended at room 312. Room 313 was gone. Not just the number missing, the wall was solid.
Like the room never existed. I stumbled backward, staring, my heart pounding like a war drum.
Claire looked like she might faint.
"Sir, I swear, I don't know what's happening." My bag gone, my phone dead. I rushed to the elevator, stormed out of the hotel, and into the cold night. The rain pouring like judgment from the sky. But then something inside me pulled.
I turned back, looked at the top floor,
and I swear, for just a second, I saw her.
Behind the glass of a window that shouldn't have existed.
A woman, soaked head to toe, staring down at me.
Her lips moving, repeating the same silent phrase. "Let me in." I ran at no hesitation this time.
Just pure primal instinct. I didn't stop until I reached the nearby hospital. Not knowing what I was even going to say, I just needed anyone to tell me I wasn't losing my mind.
My clothes were soaked, my hands trembling so violently I could barely hold my ID.
The nurses took one look at me and called in a trauma team. They didn't ask questions. They wheeled me into an ER room, hooked up monitors, took blood, and murmured about shock, hallucinations, possible exposure.
But that wasn't the strange part.
The strange part came when they scanned my ID. They couldn't find any recent insurance records. Then one of the staff whispered to another, pointing toward me.
He said, "Isn't that the guy from the accident on 32? The one who's been in a coma?"
It made no sense until they wheeled in a clipboard, and I saw the patient file, my name, my birth date.
Admitted 26 days ago. Severe head trauma, induced coma.
Still unconscious. According to their records, I was already here. My entire body went cold. I jumped up, screaming.
accusing them of playing some twisted prank. But the doctors didn't laugh. They restrained me gently. Like I was fragile, broken. They brought in a neurologist. He calmly explained I had suffered a traumatic brain injury in a car crash outside the Ashmore Hotel nearly a month ago. There was no hotel reservation, he said. You were alone. The place you crashed near has been abandoned for decades. I felt sick. I asked for a mirror. Anything to prove this wasn't real. They brought one. And I saw myself thinner, paler, hair matted and skin ghostly. My eyes were hollow. But that wasn't what made me scream. It was the reflection behind me. In the mirror, she stood just over my shoulder, dripping, staring, mouth moving. Let me in. I threw the mirror. It shattered. Everyone rushed in. I was sedated. I woke up days later. They said I'd calmed down, that I was making progress. But I knew the truth now. Room 313 wasn't a place. It was a doorway. A fracture between what we see and what we shouldn't. The doctors think it's PTSD. The nightmares, the sounds, the wet footprints near my hospital bed. But I know better. She followed me back. And every night, at exactly 3:13 a.m., I hear 3 knocks on the hospital door. They check the hallway. There's never anyone there. But the air always feels colder after. The nurses stopped questioning it. They say I talk in my sleep, that I whisper things they can't understand. They're wrong. I'm not whispering. I'm warning. Because I think she's not done with me. And if you ever come across a door labeled 313, especially one that shouldn't exist, don't open it. Don't look inside. Don't even touch the key. But if you already have, it's too late. She's probably watching you right now. If you made it this far, and you're still breathing, leave me a sign, a comment, a whisper. Anything to let me know you're still out there. And hey, subscribe. Before she finds your name next. See you in the next one. Maybe.